Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points, and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from The Hindu, published on 8th of February 2021. The title of today's editorial is Staying Watchful. If we try to summarize today's editorial, we can say that the Reserve Bank of India cannot afford to drop its guard on vigilance over prices with interest rates so low. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 3, which are sections that include Indian economy and issues relating to planning and development. So, some key points from today's editorial. The RBI Monetary Policy Committee has expectedly yet again left benchmark interest rates unchanged and reiterated that it will continue with its accommodative stance at least into the next fiscal year in order to secure a sustained economic recovery. Now viewers, we all know that within days of the Union Budget 2021 presentation, the Monetary Policy Committee met and they have taken a very big decision and they have decided to keep the key interest rates unchanged. Now the reason why such an initiative has been taken, because the Monetary Policy Committee, they actually want to continue with their accommodative stance. And the reason which they have given for keeping the rates unchanged is very simple. They have said that it is high time that the economic recovery has to be sustained. Now viewers, we will speak in detail about what exactly the Monetary Policy Committee is, what exactly are the various ideas, whether we are speaking about the expansionary policy or we are speaking about a contraction policy. We will speak about each and everything in detail, but some of the important key takeaways from the ideas that have been presented by the Monetary Policy Committee. Number one, most important thing, the Monetary Policy Committee voted unanimously to keep the repo rate unchanged at 4% for the fourth straight meeting since May. The central bank that controls the reverse repo rate separately decided to keep it unchanged at 3.35%. So the repo rate will be constant at 4%, whereas the reverse repo rate will be at 3.35%. Number two, the cash reserve ratio normalization will be done in 2 steps. Now, while keeping the rates unchanged, the Reserve Bank of India decided to reverse the cash reserve ratio cut that was announced in March 2020 after the COVID-19 crisis hit. Also, the RBI Governor Shantikanta Das said that the normalization of cash reserve ratio will leave space for the central bank to put other liquidity management tools to work. Also, one more very big initiative that has been taken is direct investment will be done in the government bonds. Now, the retail investors will now have greater access to government bond market via a new direct investment option being offered by the central bank. Now, idea here is that now the retail investors, they will have greater access to the government bond markets and RBI will be coming up with a new direct investment option. Also, now the NBFCs, that is the non-banking financial corporations, have been included into the TLTRO. Quite important for us to see it. What is TLTRO? TLTRO means Targeted Long-Term Repo Operation Scheme. The Reserve Bank of India will now allow banks to extend credit to non-banking finance companies under the TLTRO scheme. This will actually help to provide liquidity to the NBFCs. The RBI has projected for fiscal year 21-22 real GDP at 10.5% growth rate. Also, they have said the CPI inflation in the fourth quarter of the financial year of 2020-21 will be around 5.2%. Now, viewers, these are some of the important initiatives that actually have been taken in the meeting of the committee that actually took place. Now, before we move ahead, it is quite important for us to actually see and understand how exactly these things they actually work, what exactly we refer to the monetary policy, the committees, etc. So now, viewers, it is quite important for us to actually understand what exactly the monetary policy is. Now, monetary policy, it refers to the policy of the central bank. In India, we can say Reserve Bank of India, in the matters of interest rates, money supply, availability of credit. It is through the monetary policy the RBI controls inflation in the country. Reserve Bank of India uses various monetary instruments like repo rate, reverse repo rate, SLR, CRR to achieve this purpose. In short, you can say that monetary policy refers to the use of monetary investments under the control of central bank to regulate magnitudes such as interest rates, money supply, availability of credit with a view to achieving the ultimate objective of economic policy. Now, there are two kinds of monetary policies. Number one is the expansionary. The number one, most important, is the expansionary monetary policy. And the number two is contractionary. Now, when I speak about expansionary, so expansionary means when the monetary policy focuses on expanding or increasing the money supply in an economy. And expansionary monetary policy is implemented by lowering the key interest rates, like we can see here, thus increasing the liquidity in the market. Whereas the contractionary monetary policy is focused on contracting, or you can say decreasing the money supply in an economy. Excess money supply in the market will ultimately lead to what? Ultimately, it will lead to inflation. So, a contractionary monetary policy is implemented by increasing key interest rates, thereby reducing the market liquidity. Recently, many changes were made how the monetary policy is formed with the introduction of various ideas. Number one, you must have heard about the MPF, that is the Monetary Policy Framework. Number two, it is MPC, the Monetary Policy Committee. Number three, it is the Monetary Policy Process. So these are some changes that we have seen recently. Now, if somebody asks you that what is the most important goal of the monetary policy in India, so the primary objective of monetary policy is to maintain price stability while keeping the objective of growth. To maintain price stability, inflation needs to be controlled. The government of India sets an inflation target for every 5 years. RBI has an important role in the consultation process regarding inflation targeting. The current inflation targeting framework in India is flexible in nature. Now, when we speak about the MPC, that is the Monetary Policy Committee, the policy interest rate required to achieve the inflation target is actually decided by the Monetary Policy Committee. Quite important from your prelims perspective. The policy interest rate required to achieve the inflation target is decided by whom? It is decided by the Monetary Policy Committee. Now, MPC, or the Monetary Policy Committee, is a 6-member committee constituted by the central government. Section 45ZB of the amended RBI Act of 1934. The MPC is required to meet at least 4 times a year. The quorum for the meeting of the MPC, the minimum members with which the meeting can start, is 4. The total number of members in MPC is 6. Each member of the MPC has 1 vote, and in the event on an equality of vote, the governor has a second, or you can say the casting vote. The resolution adopted by the MPC is published after the conclusion of every meeting of the MPC. Once in every 6 months, the Reserve Bank of India is required to publish a document which is called as the Monetary Policy Report to explain, number one, the source of inflation, and number two, the forecast of inflation for the 16 to 18 months ahead. Now, this is something with reference to monetary policy, etc. Now, let's move ahead. And the central bank's rate setting panel has reasoned that while there are promising signs in the welter of data that it has looked at the ongoing recovery, it is still gather firm traction, making it crucial to provide continued policy support for restoring growth. Now, the MPC, they have said that according to the data which they have got, there are very much promising signs in time to come with respect to the Indian economy. However, they have made it very clear that they have to be very careful, because if you look at the ongoing recovery, it is quite important that MPC, the Reserve Bank of India, should frame such a policy that should actually help that particular growth to take place. The sharp deceleration in retail inflation in December, when headline CPI inflation eased to 4.6% after being stuck above the RBI's upper tolerance threshold of 6% for 6 straight months, clearly appeals to have smoothed the blow for the 6 members of the committee and provided them the space to stay focused in the near term on prioritizing growth. Now, if you look at the retail inflation data and the headline inflation. Now, if you speak about headline inflation, what exactly headline inflation is? It is raw inflation figures represented through the CPI. That's why we are using the term, the headline CPI inflation. That is the Consumer Price Index. The CPI calculates the cost to purchase a fixed basket of goods as a way of determining how much the inflation is occurring in the broad economy. So we have seen a deceleration in the retail inflation, and that is why the Monetary Policy Committee has been quite satisfied, and they have actually decided to focus only and only upon the objective of growth in the time to come. The rollout of the COVID-19 vaccination program, as well as the union budget proposal to give a boost to the infrastructure, innovation, research, among other things, have been recognized as factors likely to restore confidence and lend a flip to the growth momentum respectively. Now, as we speak about the budget seems to be quite promising, along with the beginning of the COVID-19 vaccination. The budget has definitely spoken a lot about investment into infrastructure, innovation, research, etc. So among such a situation, it is quite expected that these things will bring a lot of confidence and definitely provide the required amount of momentum to the economy. If we speak at the present scenario, rural demand's persistent resilience is what the monetary policy sees undergirding the demand recovery, aided in its view by good prospects for agriculture. Also, they have said that the prospects for agriculture are also well. They have said by the data received till 29th January 2021, there has been an increase of around 2.9% with reference to the Rabi sowing. However, the farmer protest which is right now going on in the key crop growing states of Haryana, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh, if not addressed properly, could be a cause of concern, and it might pose a threat to both the growth as well as the inflation dynamics. Because if the farmers are not satisfied, if the concern of the farmers is not taken into consideration, no one knows that they might not sell their produce into the market as well. And that will ultimately lead to what? That will ultimately lead to inflation issue. So we have to be a bit more careful here. The central bank has also understandably sought to privilege its role as the government debt manager through a clutch of regulatory announcements accompanying the latest monetary policy. Now, two very important measures that have been taken by the MPC of the Reserve Bank of India with the reference to act particularly as government's debt manager are number one, extending the enhanced held to maturity dispensation for banks buying debt issues by the center and the states by 1 year up to 31st March 2023. And also, like I said, that the RBI will be coming up with new online purchase options where retail investors can definitely have more access to government bond market. So these things will actually help government a lot, and it will also help in boosting the economy. The way ahead, with the center alone targeting to borrow as much as 12 lakh crore at the gross level in the coming financial year. We all know in the budget it was said that government is planning to take a loan of 12 lakh crore for infrastructural development. The debt manager faces the unenviable task of ensuring that the flood of debt not only find takers at a price that does not push up borrowing costs for the rest of the real economy, but also of trying and preventing it from crowding out demand for private investment credit. Most important thing that has to be taken care by the Reserve Bank of India is that when the bank is offering a loan of 12 lakh crore rupees, now it should be taken into consideration that this burden should not come up on the people. This burden should not come up on the economy. Otherwise, ultimately, it is the people, it is the economy who is going to suffer. With interest rates being held at near record lows and inflation still persisting above the RBI's benchmark repo rate of 4%. See, maximum inflation that RBI has planned is +2, that is 6%. Okay, so this is how exactly the RBI has set up its benchmark, resulting in negative real returns for saver. The RBI can ill afford to drop its guard on vigilance over prices. Now, RBI has to be very careful because it is the RBI who actually manages and controls inflation. So it is high time that RBI needs to take the required amount of reforms and be very careful with reference to its policy making. If done properly, then definitely in the year to come, we will have all the positive aspects that we have been expecting over a long time. So viewers, this was with reference to today's editorial analysis. Now, some preliminary based questions that we have already discussed in between the editorial are quite important ones. Also, you people should have an important information about what exactly monetary policy is, and also please refer to the data that has been issued along with the monetary policy. So viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.